rebuilding StarTracs. Hi. Hey. Hey, my name is Chris Phillips, and today we're going to be rebuilding StarTrac's brake assembly. Alright, we're going to start by disassembling the outer cage. Just take note as to which side the wires and everything sit on, so when you put it back together, you can put it all back together the way it came apart. Next we're going to install the bolt. The reason we're installing the bolt is so that we don't damage the threads when we press out the shaft. After getting the assembly situated, the first thing you need to do is take the pulley off. And then there's a small snap ring that needs to be removed. After the snap ring is removed, the bearing and shield need to be removed also. Now that you got the second bearing off, there's another snap ring on the shaft. Once you've removed the pulley, the bearing, and both snap rings, the shaft can be driven out the bottom side. Using a socket that fits inside the inner bearing, you can drive the outer bearing out. Using a socket that fits on the inside bearing, you can drive out the inside bearing. Make sure to take note at which direction the bearing is supposed to spin. This is the failed bearing. It's a one-way clutch bearing. Take your new bearing and install it on the winding, once again making sure that the rotating direction is correct. Then take the winding and install it into the housing. Make sure the winding is square in the housing. Then drive it in with your dead blow. The winding should bottom out and still spin freely. Flip the assembly over and install the smallest bearing first. Once again, using a socket that fits the bearing just about perfectly. Make sure it's square and drive it in. If everything is seated properly, you'll be able to install the first snap ring. Install the second bearing inside the shield first. Once again, square it up and start with your dead blow. Then take the bearing with the housing and install it on the shaft. When it's seated properly, you'll be able to install the second snap ring. Put the key in the slot. Then install the pulley. Once the pulley is installed, you can remove the dummy bolt and replace the original bolt that goes in there. Once you have the assembly back together, you can go ahead and install the frame. Once you finish rebuilding the brake assembly, install it on the bike and make sure it works.